All right, so now we are going to start our collage part with the magazines. We're using National Geographic. And based on the colors that you need, you're pretty much going to scavenger hunt for those colors. Now remember, there's different oranges, different blues. Find the tone, tints, shades of them. So I already found the color for my cheese. So I'm going to grab scissors. You can rip if you'd like. It's based on your own artistic preference if you want to get those rip tears. For my teacher example, I'm going to use scissors for all of my cutting and building with my collage. Okay, so this I'm going to put to the side for my cheese. All right, let's continue the hunt for my next color. That blue is very pretty. I just wanted to point that out. All right, so I found a dark, deep brown for my burger patty, for my cheeseburger. Uh, and these textures come out so beautifully. So if you're trying to find like a solid color like I did for my cheese, you're going to be looking too long and you're not going to have as much fun. So these ripples in the mountains that I found for this brown are going to turn out amazing. So find a color with texture. I recommend it. It looks awesome when you put it all down. I found green trees for my lettuce. I thought this texture would be great, and it's the same green color that I need for my lettuce. So I'm going to cut some of these out for myself. Alright, so I'm speeding this up because I take my time to get the colors I want, and I look a little bit longer. Alright, now once you have some of your colors that you want to get started with, you'll grab an envelope from me to store these, and so you don't lose these valuable colors that you're going to want later that you might not get to today. Alright, make sure your name gets on here. You might have to cut your strips a little bit smaller like I did with my green, just to make sure that they all fit. You can fold them as well, up to you. Alright, remember, put your name on it, please. Alright. Alright, let's get started. I think I want to do my meat patty first. Now, like I'm showing you, you can rip and have little ripped pieces. That's up to you if you like that style better. However, here I'm changing my mind. I'd rather do the scissors. I'm going to cut little tiny shapes because I have a tiny area for this. Once I get to my blue and my orange background and table, I can make larger shapes, but I'm making smaller ones because my meat patty isn't that big of a shape on my artwork. Okay, so I'm starting with a couple. Don't want to cut too many right away. Alright, so now you get your stick glue. Please treat these with kindness. Rule number 3, art materials kindly, as I do not want these to dry out or lose them. We don't have many of them, and once we lose all of them or dry them all out, we don't have any more. Okay? So, I'm finding shapes that fit the best in certain corners and areas. You can overlap, of course, just to make them fit. Trying to stay within my Sharpie lines, okay? Let's fast forward a little bit here. Alright, so here it is in time lapse. Again, just taking little pieces and kind of puzzle piecing them in there and cutting them to size and shape that you are going to need. Everyone's will be different, so you might need smaller shapes even than this or larger ones. And again, you can rip or cut. Okay, so you can see mine filling up, going within the Sharpie shape that I made for the burger patty and collaging those magazine pieces together. And now I'm cutting more shapes based on what I need to fill the other one, the other side of my meat patty. And it's so nice that I labeled these brown so I know that later if I get confused or end on one side and come back to class the next day that I will remember which is which. Okay. All right. I'm also going to show you a little bit quicker on time lapse my cheese. So here's my meat patty. That texture is so nice up close with those mountain ripples. And now I'm getting my yellow for my cheese out and cutting it to shape. See how that shape was a lot bigger? I'm cutting them to shape a little bit better than smaller ones because I have a little bit more room for this to play with. Okay. Overlapping if needed. So it doesn't have to be a perfect shape to fit in there, but I can overlap on top of a previous yellow shape that I made. Always adding glue on top of where the shape needs to go, even if it's on another yellow magazine piece, I still put glue on top. Your fingers are going to get really sticky, and I have glue residue on mine right now, but it's all worth it, I promise. You might have to wash your hands a couple times if it gets really bad, but I don't see that happening. All right, so I didn't want to show and waste your time on doing the rest of it, but I'm going to snap my fingers and show you my final result. All right, so here is my final piece. It took me quite some time, but it looks amazing in my opinion. I think I did awesome. Please notice the different textures and the orange and the blue, different variations of shade and tone and tint. Play around with that. And let's get started.